I want to tell you about a dream that I had about a month ago. And this actually is part of the journal series. I am doing something a little different today. I'm skipping ahead to my current today journal, which I never thought, well, not never. I figured I would do it. I just didn't think I was ready yet. But I specifically want to talk about this dream that I had because I think it's important and it's one of the most hopeful dreams that I've had in a while. Um, so I want to share it, and I'll actually start a little bit with another part of the journal entry because it talks a little bit about the YouTube journey that I'm currently on. I feel like I have so many ideas for YouTube, and I feel like I can share my testimony of what God has done in my life from 50 different angles, like a kaleidoscope. And then I said, these are stickers from my mic. I don't like any of these enough to use them. Which I just tried it just to see, and these actually peel off quite well. So I actually could use them if I wanted to. Like, let's see. There we go. Okay, let's get to the dream. Last night I had a dream I was uprooting a large, healthy tree. I was surrounded by family and friends, but it was my job to dig up the tree. It was surprisingly easy to dig up the tree for how large it was. I started to slip further down into the hole I was standing in, but I asked for help to get out. I was nervous, but not terrified. There was a level of acceptance that it had to be done and that I was the one to do it. So that was my dream, and I woke up from that dream and I was like, wow, I am going to be thinking about this one for a while. And part of why I'm recording this one is actually to remind myself, I don't know about you, but sometimes it feels like I always want a new revelation and a new set of thoughts to ponder on. And I thought, actually, what if maybe pondering on the current revelation I'm having isn't done yet? So I actually have another video I could record on a psalm that I read, which I might do in the future, that really, really impacted me. I felt like God was speaking to me through that psalm. And then this dream. So I find myself wanting to move on to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And it's like, but what about that dream you had? That was a month ago. It was almost exactly a month ago. And so part of why I'm recording this is just to remind myself too. But a little more context around the dream. So yeah, the tree was this large, healthy tree. Huge, like a huge maple tree. Totally unrealistic for one person to hand dig up that tree. It would be physically impossible. But our dreams, don't have to be realistic. They're dreams. And so there was probably like 5 other people with me, a mix of family and friends. But, and we were just in some yard. It wasn't my yard or anyone else's. It was a dream setting where it was just somebody's yard. I don't know whose. And so they were kind of off over all just chatting amongst themselves, just kind of hanging out. But it was like, oh, here's this huge tree, and it's Allie's singular job to uproot this tree. And I'm gonna get to what I think it means. So it was my job to do that. And I actually just had a shovel, again, totally unrealistic. But in my dream, I was making good progress. So I was about 5 foot deep with a hole. I had dug myself with a shovel, standing in the hole. And I was actually, the feeling of if you dig up a plant and you can hear the roots kind of break. That was happening to me, but with the tree. So I was actually successfully uprooting this healthy tree. Yeah. Why was the tree healthy? Why was it my job to uproot the tree by myself? Because I think the tree represents my life up until this point, and I think it specifically represents my career that I'm leaving. Perfectly healthy tree. Why does it have to go? Why does it have to go? Because it's time for me to move into the next chapter of my life. And I know it's time to move on to the next thing, but yet I do have a lot of these thoughts of like, wow, this career that you've put over a decade into, that you have college degrees and experience to back it up, you're just going to leave that? It's like a perfectly healthy big tree. That's why I think it was perfectly healthy. And then why was it singularly my job? I would say that's because nobody else can make these decisions really but me, and nobody else can really do that inner work around the shift that needs to happen except for me. People can be there to support me for sure, but I have to be the one ultimately to make these decisions and to do the work. Okay, so then what happened was I could hear the roots starting to break, but then I started sinking into the hole, like as if it was quicksand. And I knew I was in trouble. And I was nervous, but not terrified. That's a huge deal for me. But I started to sink down, and then I asked for help to get out. Also a huge deal for me. A huge deal for me to ask for help. That's been a whole process of understanding that it's okay to ask for help, that I don't have to be a lone wolf and do everything on my own. Not only was I okay with asking for help in this dream, I actually knew I had a confidence within myself that I would get the help that I need. That's a huge deal as well. I woke up from the dream and I was like, wow. This is another funny part too. So the family and friends that were off over to the side, in the past, having a dream like that, I think I would have felt resentment for, why is this just my job to dig up this tree? Why aren't you people helping? Do you even care? Well, in this dream, I'm not going to lie, I had a little, what's the word? That flickered through me, even in the dream, of like, oh, really? And you guys are over here just having a good time talking amongst yourselves while I'm doing all this work. But yet, it was not the level of resentment that I used to carry, because I'm really learning how to carry what is mine and to not carry the burdens that are not mine. That's also taken years to learn. And so I think my expectations have adjusted over the years to a healthier place, which is also great. Let's see. Yeah, I had a level of acceptance that this had to be done, and I was the one to do it. Okay. And then lastly, what I want to talk about is I was nervous but not terrified. Also a big deal for me, because I can tell you what happened in my dreams, in my teenage years, in my college years, in my early career years. My dreams would have a sense of dread, fear, and panic laced throughout them. And a lot of times I would wake up in a panic. Wake up with this sort of sense of doom and dread. So when I said I was nervous but not terrified, normally in the past, I can tell you what, in that dream, I would be terrified and the dream would probably end with me sinking down into the hole with no help. And I'd wake up in a panic and be scared. So the fact that I was nervous but not terrified and knew that I needed to ask for help and knew that help would be available to me, huge. Huge. So I'm really proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for the progress I'm making. I'm getting perspective in my process here. Yeah. So this is a short one today. I hope you have a great day. Also, I did film this video in the selfie mode, and I've actually not done that before, so hopefully the quality of the video is good, but I think even if it's not as good of quality, I'll probably upload it anyways, because I want to know, do you have any insight into my dream? Would you like to share any dreams that you've been having lately? I think dreams can be such a fun and interesting topic. So let me know in the comments. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.